Hello, everyone. Welcome to our English reading session. I'm really happy to see you here today. Together, we will explore an interesting story, learn new words, and practice our reading skills. So, get comfortable, grab your notebook, and let's enjoy this journey in English. Chapter 1, the first page. Lena stood in the attic, brushing dust off an old wooden box. The air smelled like forgotten summers and quiet memories. She wasn't sure what she was looking for, just something to distract her from the noise of the day. The attic was silent, and that silence felt like a hug. Inside the box, beneath faded photographs and a broken snow globe, she found a small book with a pink cover. It was soft at the edges, like it had been held many times. On the front, in silver letters, it said, "Lena's Diary. Keep out." She smiled. She had forgotten all about it. Lena sat cross-legged on the floor and opened the first page. Her handwriting was messy, round, and full of emotion. The ink had faded, but the words were still clear. "I feel invisible. I don't know how to say things out loud, so I'll write them here." She paused. That sentence felt like a whisper from her younger self. A girl who had so much to say, but no one to say it to. Lena was 10 years old. She liked books more than people, and silence more than noise. At school, she sat at the back of the class, drawing tiny stars in the margins of her notebook. She didn't raise her hand. She didn't speak unless someone asked her a question. Most kids didn't notice her. Some teased her for being too quiet. Others just forgot she was there. Her only friend was Eli. He was loud, funny, and always had grass stains on his jeans. He didn't mind that Lena didn't talk much. He said she had magic eyes, the kind that saw things other people missed. One day, after a rough morning at school, Lena was sent to the counselor's office. Mr. Carter was kind. He had soft eyes and a desk full of puzzles. He didn't ask her why she was sad. He just handed her a notebook. "This is yours," he said. "You don't have to show it to anyone. Just write whatever you feel, even if it's just one word." Lena looked at the blank pages. They scared her a little. But that night, she opened the book and wrote, "I feel invisible." From that day on, Lena wrote every night. She didn't write long stories, just little pieces of her heart. "Eli made me laugh today. He said my hair looks like a cloud. I hate when people call me weird. I'm not weird. I'm just quiet. Grandma Rose told me that quiet people are deep rivers. I like that." Her diary became her secret friend. It didn't judge her. It didn't interrupt. It just listened. Sometimes she wrote poems. Sometimes she drew pictures. Sometimes she cried while writing, and the tears made the ink run. But she kept going. Lena's grandma lived with them. She was old, gentle, and always smelled like lavender. She noticed things like when Lena was quiet for too long, or when her eyes looked heavy. One evening, Grandma Rose found Lena writing in her diary. "What are you writing, little bird?" she asked. "Just stuff," Lena said. Grandma smiled. "Words are powerful. They can heal you. They can help you fly." Lena didn't understand what she meant, but she liked the sound of it. One rainy afternoon, Lena sat by the window, watching drops race down the glass. She felt sad, but didn't know why. She opened her diary and wrote, "I wish I could be brave. I wish I could say things out loud." Then she paused. She looked at the words. They felt true, and they felt heavy. She turned the page and wrote, "Maybe writing is my way of speaking." That sentence changed something inside her. It was like a small light turned on. Now, sitting in the attic, Lena held the diary close. She was older now, stronger, louder, more confident. But reading those pages reminded her of the girl she used to be, the girl who found her voice in silence. She flipped to the last page. There was a drawing of a bird flying out of a cage. Underneath, she had written, "One day I'll tell my story, and maybe someone will feel less alone." Lena closed the diary and smiled. That day had come. Chapter 2, Words That Saved Me. Lena sat on her bed, her diary open beside her. The pages were filling up slowly, quietly, like a garden growing in secret. She didn't write every day, but when she did, it felt like breathing. Her words were changing. They weren't just sad anymore. They were curious, brave, sometimes even funny. Eli tried to do a cartwheel today. He fell like a pancake. I raised my hand in class. My voice shook, but I did it. Grandma Rose says I have a lion's heart. I don't feel like a lion, but maybe I'm a quiet one. Each sentence was a step forward. Lena didn't notice it at first, but her diary did. Eli was still her best friend. He didn't care that Lena liked silence. He filled the space with jokes and stories, and sometimes just sat beside her without saying anything. One afternoon, they were walking home from school. Eli was talking about space aliens and peanut butter sandwiches, his usual mix of nonsense. Then he stopped and looked at her. "You're different lately," he said. "Like, stronger." Lena blinked. "Really?" "Yeah, you smile more. And you look people in the eye now. It's cool." She didn't know what to say. But that night, she wrote in her diary, "Maybe I'm growing. Like a tree. Slow, but strong." At school, Lena's teacher asked the class to write a short story. Most kids groaned. Lena felt nervous, but also excited. She wrote about a girl who lived in a lighthouse and talked to the sea. It was simple, but full of feeling. When the teacher read it aloud, Lena's heart raced. She thought she might faint. But then she saw Eli smiling at her from across the room. And her teacher said, "This story is quiet, but powerful, just like its writer." Lena didn't cry. But later, in her diary, she wrote, "Today, my words were heard." One weekend, Lena helped Grandma Rose in the garden. They planted lavender and tomatoes and talked about dreams. "Do you still write in your diary?" Grandma asked. "Every week," Lena said. "That's good. Your words are like seeds. They grow inside you." Lena looked at the soil on her hands. "Sometimes I don't know what I'm growing." Grandma smiled. "You're growing yourself." That night, Lena wrote, "I'm not just writing. I'm becoming." One day, Mr. Carter gave Lena a book. It was about a girl who wrote letters to the moon. Lena read it in 2 days. She cried at the end, not because it was sad, but because it felt like someone understood her. She wrote in her diary, "Books are like friends who speak your language." I want to write something that makes someone cry in a good way. It was the first time she thought about writing for others, not just for herself. Lena started leaving tiny notes in her diary. Notes to her future self. "Don't forget how brave you are today. You are not small. You are quiet and mighty. One day, you'll help someone feel less alone." She didn't know who she was writing to, but it felt important. Her diary was no longer just a hiding place. It was a map. Back to the present. Adult Lena sat at her desk, reading those old entries. She laughed at some. She cried at others. She saw her younger self, scared, hopeful, growing. And she realized something. Her diary didn't just save her. It shaped her. It gave her the courage to speak, to write, to live with her heart open. She closed the book and whispered, "Thank you." Chapter 3. The Storm and the Silence. The rain came suddenly. Not outside, inside Lena's heart. She didn't know why. Nothing bad had happened. But everything felt heavy. Her words stopped. Her smile faded. Her diary stayed closed for days. The quiet return. Lena sat by her window, watching the rain. Eli texted her funny memes. Grandma Rose called to say hello, but Lena didn't answer. She felt like she was sinking. Her teacher asked if she was okay. Lena nodded, but her voice was small. At home, she opened her diary. The blank page stared at her. She whispered, "I don't know what to say." A memory that helped. That night, Lena remembered something. She was 6 years old, hiding under a blanket during a thunderstorm. Grandma Rose had crawled in beside her and said, "Storms pass, but you don't have to wait alone." Lena opened her diary and wrote, "I feel lost, but I'm still here." Even silence is part of the story. Eli came over with a box of cookies and a notebook. I brought you a new diary, he said, in case the old one feels too full. Lena smiled weakly. Thanks. They sat in silence. Eli didn't push. He just stayed. Before he left, he said, "You're allowed to pause. But don't forget, you're a writer." That night, Lena wrote, "Today, I remembered I'm not alone." The next day, Lena opened her old diary. She flipped through the pages. She found one entry that made her cry. One day, you'll help someone feel less alone. She whispered, maybe that someone is me. She picked up her pen and wrote, I'm writing again. Slowly. But it matters. Lena didn't feel strong. But she kept writing. She wrote about the rain. About silence. About how hard it was to speak. She didn't try to be brave. She just tried to be honest. And slowly, her words returned. Back to the present. Adult Lena looked at those pages. They weren't perfect. They were messy, raw, real. She smiled. Her diary had taught her that silence wasn't failure. It was part of healing. And storms didn't mean the story was over. They meant something was growing. She whispered, "Thank you for staying with me." Chapter 4. The Letter I Never Sent. Lena sat at her desk, her diary open. The pages were full now of memories, fears, hopes, and quiet victories. She picked up her pen and began to write something different. Not a diary entry. A letter. To the girl I used to be. Dear little me. I see you. Hiding behind books. Afraid to speak. Feeling too small. You are not broken. You are becoming. Your silence is not weakness. It's a kind of listening. One day, your words will matter. They will help someone else feel less alone. Keep writing, even when it's hard. Especially then. You are brave. You are enough. Love, me. Lena didn't send the letter. She folded it and tucked it into her diary. But something inside her shifted. Eli's encouragement. Eli saw her smile the next day. You look lighter, he said. I wrote a letter, Lena replied. To who? To myself. From the past. Eli nodded. That's cool. You should write one to someone else next. Lena thought about it. Maybe she could. A new idea. At school, Lena's teacher announced a writing contest. The theme was asterisk, a message that matters. Lena hesitated. She didn't like contests. But the theme felt right. She opened her diary and read the letter again. Then she began to write a new version for someone else. Someone who might be hiding, just like she had. Her contest entry. To the quiet kid in the back of the class. I know how it feels to be invisible. To want to speak, but stay silent. I used to think I had nothing to say. But I was wrong. Your voice matters. Even if it shakes. Even if it's soft. Write. Speak. Dream. You are not alone. She submitted it. And waited. A small win. 2 weeks later, Lena's teacher called her name. You won second place, she said. Your message moved the judges. Lena smiled. Not because she won, but because someone had listened. She wrote in her diary. My words reached someone. That's enough. Back to the present. Adult Lena held the letter in her hands. It was yellowed now, but still powerful. She had written many things since then, books, articles, speeches. But this letter was special. It was the first time she realized her story could help others. She whispered, "Thank you for teaching me how to speak." Chapter 5. The Day I Read My Diary Aloud. Lena stood at the front of the classroom. Her hands trembled. Her heart beat like a drum. She was holding her diary. Today was Share Something That Matters Day. Most kids brought poems, drawings, or favorite books. Lena had brought her story. Eli's support. Before she stood up, Eli whispered, "You've got this." Lena nodded. She wasn't sure, but she wanted to try. She opened her diary and began to read. Her voice, her story. I used to be afraid of speaking. I thought silence was safer. But I started writing. And my words helped me grow. This diary is full of small steps. Sad days. Brave moments. And hope. She read slowly. Her voice shook, but no one laughed. No one interrupted. They listened. A teacher's tears. When Lena finished, the room was quiet. Her teacher wiped her eyes. "Thank you, Lena," she said. "That was beautiful." Lena sat down. Her hands were still shaking. But inside, something had changed. She had spoken. And she had been heard. Eli's smile. After class, Eli gave her a high five. "You were amazing," he said. "I was scared," Lena replied. "Yeah, but you did it anyway. That's real courage." Lena smiled. She wrote in her diary that night, "Today, I shared my heart. And it didn't break. It opened. A new beginning." That day, Lena started thinking differently. Maybe her diary wasn't just for her. Maybe it could help others. Maybe her story mattered. She didn't know how yet, but she felt ready to find out. Back to the present. Adult Lena stood on a stage, reading from her book. It was based on her diary. The audience was quiet, listening, feeling. She looked up and smiled. Her voice was strong now, but she still remembered the girl who whispered into pages. She whispered, "Thank you for teaching me how to be brave." Chapter 6. The first time someone said, "Me too." Lena was invited to speak at a small youth event. She didn't feel like a speaker. She still preferred notebooks to microphones. But she said yes. She brought her diary. Not to read from, but to hold. It was her anchor. Sharing her story. She stood in front of 20 teenagers. Some looked bored. Some looked nervous. One girl was hugging her backpack like a shield. Lena spoke softly. "I used to be quiet. I thought that meant I didn't matter. But I started writing. And slowly, I found my voice. This diary helped me grow. It helped me heal." She paused. The room was silent. If you've ever felt invisible, I want you to know you're not alone. A whispered response. After the talk, a girl came up to Lena. She was shy, maybe 13. She whispered, "Me too." Lena blinked. "You write?" The girl nodded. "I have a journal. I never show anyone." Lena smiled. "That's okay. It's yours. But your words matter." The girl hugged her. Just for a second. Then walked away. Lena wrote in her diary that night, "Today, someone saw themselves in my story. That's the real prize." The ripple effect. More messages came. Quiet kids. Lonely teens. Even adults. They said, "I thought I was the only one. Your story helped me speak." I started writing again. Lena didn't feel famous. She felt connected. Her diary had become a bridge. Adult Lena sat by her window, the old diary in her lap. She had written books, given talks, helped others find their voice. But this diary, this quiet, wrinkled notebook, was still her most precious thing. It had taught her that silence isn't emptiness. It's a place to begin. That small words can carry big truths. That healing doesn't shout, it whispers. That sharing your story can light someone else's path. She smiled and wrote one last line. "Thank you, little me. You were braver than you knew." Then she closed the diary. Not because the story was over, but because it had become part of everything she did. If you've ever felt invisible, unheard, or unsure of your place in the world, this story is for you. Lena's journey began with a single page. Yours can too. Start writing. Start listening to your own voice. Share your story when you're ready, because someone out there needs it. You don't have to be loud to be powerful. You don't have to be perfect to be brave. You just have to begin. So grab a notebook. Write one sentence. Then another. Let your words become your wings. And when you're ready, read them aloud. Because your story matters. And you're not alone. Thank you so much for listening to this story. If it touched your heart, reminded you of your own quiet moments, or gave you a little courage, then I'm truly glad. Your words matter. Your feelings matter. Even the small ones. Even the quiet ones. Keep writing. Keep believing in yourself. And never be afraid to share your light. I'm so grateful for your time, your kindness, and your open heart. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you won't miss the next reading or message. Do you have a story, a memory, or a diary entry you'd like to share? Leave a comment. I read everyone with care and love. See you soon for another gentle journey. And always remember, your story is important.